Hi guys, just a quick update on my HB E819. So on Sunday I took part in my first ever RC race with this buggy. I came in 7th out of 15 in my first ever e-buggy race, so I'm really happy with that. There were some really high quality drivers there, very experienced guys as well. So to come 7th overall, I'm super happy with. So a quick update on the car, how did it perform? I'm really pleased with it. I had no real reliability issues. The only thing that I did have is going into the first main, the first final, the front right wheel actually came off. It was still had the nut on, and it actually had the hex was still attached to the wheel as well. So what had happened is the grub screw that goes in here had come loose, had popped out in my previous heat, and that then caused the pin to fall out that holds the hex onto the hub there. So I then went back and I just tightened up all the grub screws in all the hubs. The other two on the rear in particular were both loose as well. So maybe that's something you might want to look into if you're running this buggy. I just went round, Loctited them all in, and I have no issues since. So otherwise, yeah, buggy ran absolutely spot on. No issues with it at all. Before the race, I actually went through the whole car, tightened everything up. I had a couple of loose bolts after a few practice runs. I serviced all 3 diffs, renewed all the oils, renewed all the shock oils as well. I want this buggy to be spot on before my first ever race. Setup wise, really happy with it. It's pretty much box stock generally, apart from I just changed the ride height and the cambers to suit our local track really. One strange thing I was experiencing, guys, when I went for a practice day, literally 2 days before race day, I was running laps with this car, and one strange behaviour it was demonstrating was that as the car got airborne from a jump, it would quite aggressively pitch nose down, and it really quickly actually, to the extent where a few times actually I unintentionally did a complete front flip, and it tends to end landing up like this. So what I did with that when I got home is when I rebuilt the rear shocks, I was going to change the oils anyway, put fresh oil in there. I just reduced the rebound of the rear shocks because I felt that as the car was coming up off the ramp, the rear shocks were pushing it then and causing it to pivot forward quite aggressively. So I just reduced that rebound. And that made a big difference on race day. Come the race, both in the heats and the finals, it never did that again. So I'm really happy with that. So as a newbie, that gives me confidence that this car does react really well to setup changes. Throughout the day, basically the setup of the day, or the format of our day, was we did 3 qualifying heats of just 5 minutes each. You're just racing the clock then, you're not racing each other. And then your fastest average, if you like, over those 3 heats then determines your starting position for the finals. We had 2 finals, 2 12-minute finals. And actually I came 7th in every single run I did. So all 3 heats, I came in 7th on every one. And the 2 finals as well, I came in 7th. A couple of things I personally need to work on. Such as I'm entering the corners too fast, so I'm missing the apexes and going deep into the corners, so I'm obviously extending my lap. So I might dial in a little bit more brake into the ESC. I think I'm on 50% at the moment. I might go up to 70 and just see how that goes. Also, I'm hitting the jumps too hard at too high a speed, so I'm landing deep rather than landing on the downslope of the jump. I'm landing on the flat. So that's then sending me deep into the next corner and unsettling the car on the entry. So I really need to work on that. I didn't change much of the car throughout the day. I was really happy with it. The only thing I changed is I changed the pinion from a 16 to a 15 turn tooth. Main reason, it was super fast on the main straight. The track I ran at, there's only one main straight. Everything else has a jump in it. So I was super fast at the end of the straight, but I didn't quite have enough poke just to get me up over the jumps. We have quite a few tight corners followed by a large jump, so I just needed a bit more low-end grunt to fire me out of the corner and get enough speed to clear the jump. So I just went down the tooth. It hasn't really impacted my top end that much, but I really noticed it gave me quite a bit of extra grunt out of the corners. My ESC's come loose, as we can see, so I just need to put some new tape in there, and that should hold that down. Things I learned about racing, being a newbie to racing, is I definitely need at least 2 sets of tyres. I went in thinking one brand new set of tyres would get me through the day, and they just don't. Which is kind of scary because they're pretty expensive. I mean, Prolines now are nearly £50 for a set of 4 tyres. So to think you need, I reckon I'd get through a set and a half on a day's racing, which is pretty much what I did. I started with the Prolines. I ran those in the 3 heats, and I probably took about 40% out of those, but they weren't really giving much grip in the corners. Went to these sweeps. These are micro contacts. So much more grip. I ran these in the 2 finals, so these have had nearly half an hour on them, but I've taken quite a lot out of them. I've taken about 60 or 70% out of them, I reckon. So that's definitely something to bear in mind. You do need to be prepared to spend on tyres. You just can't get away with one set. So yeah, my main thoughts, guys, coming straight out of the race, really. It was literally yesterday. I'm recording this the day after. Really happy with the buggy. I've got a bit of practice to do. Like I said, my main point, slowing down more for the corners, not landing so deep after the jumps. I really try and hit those apexes. I do need to sort out my start as well. In both finals, I ended up in tangles in the first corner. So on both finals, I came out the first corner in last position. Due to being the need to being marshalled. So again, I'm happy with that actually, because I then in both finals worked my way up from 15th up to 7th. Just stay consistent, really. That's what I'm really going to do. It's a bit more practice, stay consistent. Buggy is awesome. I'm not going to change anything to the setup. Otherwise, just maybe dialing a bit more brake on the ESC. I'm still not running any turbo timing either. That's turbos is off. So I might start dialing some of that in as well. Otherwise, next thing I'm going to do with this buggy, actually I've got all the parts to convert this to an RS, an E819 RS. So that will probably be my next video actually. So I'll run that in my next race hopefully, which is the week after next. So now I've got a kind of base time set with this car. I'm hoping I'll see a bit of a difference with the RS spec. So that's it, pretty much just a quick update on how I'm finding the buggy and my first ever race. Absolutely loved it, I'm hooked. It's such an adrenaline rush. I was buzzing the next morning, I could barely sleep at night. Yeah, really pleased with it. So yeah, that's it, I'll see you soon, cheers.